Hey guys, Kevin Runlet with Runlet Law Firm, putting out information about workers' comp cases that'll hopefully help you whether you have an attorney or not. If you have us, certainly these procedures and the paperwork that we're talking about today will be applicable. So what I do want to talk about today, first of all, if you like what we're doing, hit the like button, subscribe to us, and you'll get notifications when more information comes out as I put out these videos. But it is for your help, and I hope it does benefit you in some way. But today I want to talk about a question that we get a lot, or some confusion that we have with a workers' comp case at settlement time. So let's assume a case has been worked up completely, treatment's over, settlement's actually been reached. Before we can actually get that settlement check to you, there's some procedures through the Workers' Comp Commission that we have to follow. First of all, we have to submit a signed petition that outlines everything in the settlement to the commission, and they have to review it. And if they approve, they will sign off on an order approving the settlement, and then we can move forward. But I want to talk to you a little bit about that paperwork so you understand. Even though we've explained it to you, I know it's confusing. So we want to make sure that it's all really clear. So if you're at that point in your case where your attorney is about to send you the paperwork and say you got to sign this stuff, or you guys are going to meet and sign this stuff, hopefully this will provide some clarification. So that first document is a petition to settle. It's a petition that goes to the Comp Commission, and I've printed off the first page and blacked out the names of the client for this case. But this is what the front page of the petition will look like. It's going to probably say petition for approval of final compromise settlement. Generally, what happens is it's called a compromise settlement. The employer and carrier will say, well, we don't totally agree with everything that's alleged in the petition in this case, but we've agreed to settle the case, and this document will be, it could be 5, it could be 10 pages long. It can be kind of thick. And what's going to be included in this document is the basics of the case, who the claimant is, your date of birth. It's going to talk about your medical history. The defense usually prepares this document, and we would review it and make sure everything's accurate. So make sure you're also reviewing and making sure everything's accurate in this document. Don't just sign it without reading it or going over it with your attorney. So it's going to have in here, like I said, your information, what your job was. It's going to go through all the medical treatment that you've received, and it's probably going to have at least attached to this document the final medical document. That's the document from your doctor that says this person has reached maximum medical improvement. This is the treatment we gave. This is what we predict in the future. So it's going to have all that information in there. It's also going to have the information about the settlement numbers. It's going to have information about what the total settlement is, how much of that goes to the attorney, which is generally 25% in Mississippi. Some states are different, but generally 25% in Mississippi is what that will be. It will also have a page on the very back that you have to look at, that you have to sign. So it'll show submitted by, and then there's a notary. It'll have to be notarized, so either you can do that with your attorney, or you can have that notarized yourself and get it to your attorney. But you see that there's a signature here, and then there's this notary saying that it was signed in front of a notary, and the notary saw you sign it, and they will stamp it, and then it'll be official, and you can submit it to the commission at that time. One other thing I want to talk about that may be in here is some information about Social Security, and your attorney should draft information and put in a paragraph in this settlement document that your expected life, or your life expectancy, through the Social Security actuarial tables. It'll say what this settlement is broken down into per week. And what this does is it saves you some money if you ever have to apply for Social Security disability. So just make sure you talk about that with your attorney, ask about it, but we generally include that in almost all of our settlement documents. There may be Medicare set-aside information in here, and I'm going to talk about that on a different video, but just be aware that if Medicare could make payments, Social Security Disability may pay payments, you need to put information in there about a set-aside if there is one. And that's just money that's given to you out of the settlement that says this is going to be for future treatments related to this, and until that's spent, Medicare won't kick in and start paying. So it is pretty important to put it in there. So that's the petition. You have to ask the court to approve the settlement. Some other documents that you'll have, one is called a B31. This is an official form from the Workers' Comp Commission, and this is what it looks like. It's just a one-page form that puts your information on there, the carrier's information on there, and it's going to break down all the payments that they've made related to the claim. That's all your medical treatments, that's all the temporary benefits that they've paid, and it'll show the future or the lump sum payment for the settlement that they're making. So you just have to sign that at the bottom, and that needs to be submitted after the settlement is approved, after you've gotten the check. Generally, we hold these and one other document that I'll talk about until we receive the settlement. So another document I didn't print off a copy of, but it's fairly straightforward. A lot of times the employer and carrier is going to also submit a document called a release. So the release is saying that we're paying this claimant X amount of dollars, and this is full and final settlement for this injury. Claimant will not seek any other lawsuits against us. This is something you really need to talk to your attorney about. Sometimes we allow clients to sign these if there's no other third-party claim, if it's strictly a workers' comp case against the employer, there's no other factors, then we can sign these and it's not a big deal. Employers just like to have them. They may or may not be enforceable, but if it pushes the settlement along and there's no real reason not to sign it, then you should sign it. But this is another issue that you should talk about with your attorney. That's why we're here. So we can make sure that your rights in the future are protected, that you don't sign anything that you're not supposed to sign, because sometimes they'll try to get you to do that. So keep that in mind, and just remember, so we've talked about the petition to approve the settlement, we've talked about the form B31, and we've talked about the release. The other thing that we will provide at the settlement time is a distribution statement to you. So we want you to be fully aware of how much money you're getting, how much money your attorney is getting, how much expenses we had, if we had to pay for medical records, if we had to pay for depositions, if we had to pay expert costs, that will come out. But we want to clearly explain what that is, and it's just a one-page document that clearly outlines all that was paid. This case didn't have any expenses. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And you would just need to sign that before we finalize the settlement. So that's basically it with the settlement documents that you'll be receiving. I hope this helps. I hope this makes it a little more clear, because it is confusing and we understand that. We just want you to be fully advised and fully aware of everything that's going on in your case. So if there's anything we can do to help you, feel free to let us know. And thanks for watching.